Let's get started with today's story. The sound of the doorbell jolted me out of my focus on the TV. My curiosity spiked, and I walked over to the door, peering through the peephole. I couldn't believe it. How on earth had she found me? I debated just going back to the couch and ignoring the ringing. But I knew if she'd gone to this trouble, she wasn't leaving until she got whatever she wanted. I hooked up the safety chain, opened the door just a crack so we could see each other, and asked, "What do you want?" "To talk." "Didn't the way I left tell you that I had no interest in ever seeing you again, let alone talking to you?" "I don't even know why you left. I came home and you were just gone. No note, no explanation, just an empty closet where your things used to be." "You're joking, right? How could you not know? I know you heard me when I told you exactly what would happen if you went through with your plan." "Can I come in?" Might as well get it over with, I figured. I unhooked the chain, stepped aside, and let her in. She sat on the couch looking around as though she'd never been here before, and asked for a glass of water. As I went to get it, memories of the night that started it all came flooding back. I'd come home from work to find my wife Laura dressed to the nines. "I didn't know we had plans to go out," I'd said. "We don't. I have a date tonight." "A date? With who?" "You don't know him, just a guy from work." "A guy from work? Does he know you're married?" "That doesn't matter. Nothing's going to happen between us. Besides, I didn't want to go to Linda's birthday party alone. And since you refused to go with me, I figured I'd go with him. You know why I refused to go. I can't stand Linda, and I don't want you hanging around her either." "Get used to it, Ben. She's been my best friend since elementary school, and I'm not cutting her off just because you don't like her. I don't like her because she's been divorced 4 times, every time due to cheating. And I don't like going to her parties because of all the drugs around. So because she cheated, you think I'm going to? Be honest. Look at how you're dressed for this friend from work. It's obvious you're dressing for him, and I can only think of one reason you'd do that." "That's a horrible thing to say." "No, it's not. What did you wear to the last party at Linda's? Jeans and a sweater. But now you're in a little black dress, dressed to catch someone's eye. I know Linda's been trying to get you to join in her festivities for years. Seems like you finally decided to give it a try. You're wrong, it's not like that." "Easy enough to prove me wrong. Don't go. Stay here with me." "I can't. Greg's counting on me." "All I can say, Laura, is that if you walk out that door, you're walking out on this marriage." "You're being ridiculous. This won't hurt us at all." "Goodbye then," I said as she turned to leave. I think she heard the finality in my voice because she hesitated for a moment before heading out. Did I overreact? I didn't think so. I knew what Linda's parties were like, and though Laura hadn't joined in before, she'd stayed late enough to know what went on. I'd heard Linda urging her on, "Come on, Laura, your husband will never know." Laura would laugh it off, though sometimes too casually for my liking. I'd tried to talk Laura out of spending time with Linda for years, but that BFF connection was hard to break. That night I lay awake, wondering what to do. Divorce crossed my mind, but without proof of cheating, I was unsure. Could I live with her lack of regard? We'd had 7 pretty great years together, but Linda was a constant thorn in our relationship. One might wonder why I didn't just confront her sooner. I wanted to know if Laura would actually cross the line. Confronting her might just push her to be sneakier about it, and I'd never know. But if she did it at Linda's, I had friends who'd tell me. So I went to bed undecided. The ringing phone woke me. Glancing at the clock, I saw it was just past 1 in the morning. My stomach clenched as I reached for the receiver. "Hello? Hey, idiot. Did I wake you up?" "What do you want, Linda?" "Just thought you should know. Your wife finally found herself a real man." "What are you talking about?" "Exactly what I said. Laura's finally with someone who knows what she needs. Here, listen." My heart sank as sounds of intimacy crackled through the line, and then I heard her voice. "Yes, please, harder." Clear as day. I slammed the phone down, but 30 seconds later it rang again. I picked up the handset and dropped it onto the floor, unwilling to hear more. The only good thing about apartment living is the lack of clutter. Within an hour, I'd packed what I needed, loaded up my truck, and found a motel for the night. By morning, I was at the bank as soon as they opened, clearing out our joint accounts. Then I went to my job, told my boss I was quitting, and explained why. He understood, cut me my last check, and helped me load my tools. Since about 7 that morning, my phone had been buzzing nonstop with calls from Laura. I finally switched it off and decided to get a new number. Then I thought better of it. She might be able to find out. I tossed the phone in the trash and picked up a cheap prepaid one from a local store. Luckily, we didn't have joint credit cards, so I didn't need to worry about cutting off her access to my accounts. By 10 o'clock, I was back on the road, driving, somewhere. I hadn't figured out where yet, just that it had to be far from here. I settled in a new town, miles away from Laura, and found a job. The next 2 years passed quietly, and I had a few dates here and there. Just as life was getting back to normal, Laura showed up at my door. "How did you find me?" I demanded. "A very expensive private investigator." "Why would you go to such lengths?" "Because you're my husband." I took the vow of, for better or worse, and I meant it. "Where did you get the money to pay a private investigator?" "I sold the house." "What house?" "The one I was awarded in court." I started to ask about the court proceedings, but it didn't matter. "Well, you wasted your money and your time. We're done. You did exactly what I said would end our marriage when you walked out to go to that party. Don't waste your breath trying to say nothing happened. Your friend Linda called me in the middle of the night and let me hear exactly what was going on. Your 'yes, please' harder came through loud and clear." "Ben, let me explain. I didn't go to that party to cheat on you. It wasn't even on my mind. Maybe I overdressed, but Linda asked me to do it. She said Greg would leave if he thought he wasn't going to get lucky, and for some reason she didn't want him there. Do you think I'm going to believe that? Please, just listen. Greg got the wrong idea. He stuck to me like glue the entire night, barely letting me talk to anyone else. I danced with a few guys, but that was it. Just as the party was winding down, I began to feel dizzy and lightheaded. Linda suggested I'd had too much to drink and urged me to lie down in one of her spare bedrooms. I'm not sure how or when it started, but slowly I became aware that someone was making love to me. For a moment I thought I was home in bed with you until I heard someone say, "Hurry it up, will you?" I'm next. Looking around, I saw Linda, along with Greg and Mark. Several other guys were standing around without clothes, one of them apparently the next in line. You know me, Ben. You know how I get when we're intimate. I lose myself, becoming nothing but a vessel of pleasure. I don't know how many men were with me before I passed out. I woke up the next morning next to Ryan. He was propped up on his elbow, looking at me. I saw the expression on his face and asked, "What?" "Just never thought you would cheat on Ben. Glad you did, though. Hope to see more of you." I promptly slapped him across the cheek, got dressed, and headed to the hospital. I told the staff I thought I'd been given a date rape drug. They conducted tests and found traces of Rohypnol and ecstasy in my system, which led them to call the police. While I waited for them to arrive, I tried calling you but got no answer. I discovered why I couldn't reach you when I got home and found you gone. When the police finally spoke with me, I told them what I knew and what little I remembered. The first person they questioned was Ryan, who claimed he had no idea I was drugged. He didn't think anything of it, stating that this was just what happened at Linda's parties and I was well aware of that. He said he figured I'd finally decided to give it a try. The police thought Greg must have played a part in what happened to me that night. When they pressured him, he turned on Linda, saying it was all her doing. She thought I really wanted to join in, so she decided to give me a little push. She figured that once the drugs wore off, I'd still be into it, that I'd love it, and want to do it again. She was right about that. I did enjoy it, but she neglected to remember that I had told her repeatedly I wouldn't join in without you. You had to be on board for me to participate. After leaving the hospital and the police station, a police officer drove me home, and I realized why I hadn't been able to reach you. I broke down and cried for 2 days, and then I hired an attorney and sued everyone who had been at that party. Most of the suits were dismissed because they all gave the same excuse Ryan had. But the cases against Linda and Greg were valid because they had conspired against me. I won my lawsuits, but Linda had little to offer beyond her house. They asked if I would settle for that, and although she still owed $25,000 on it, I managed to pay it off with what I received from Greg and then sold it. Once I had the funds from selling the house, I hired a private investigator, and here I am. You wasted your money and time on the PI for what? To get us back together. I love you and belong with you. You would have been smarter to spend your money on a lawyer to get a divorce. You could have used abandonment as grounds. I don't want a divorce, Ben. What you want or don't want doesn't matter to me anymore, Laura. I didn't do it willingly, Ben. But you did willingly walk out the door despite me telling you that if you left, you were walking away from our marriage. You ignored my words and walked out that door again. The way I left should have told you I wouldn't waste my time or money getting here. I need to be here if I'm going to win us back. You're not paying any more attention to what I'm saying now than you did when you walked out on me that night. Listen closely, Laura. I don't want you. You can't win me back because I do not. Want to get back together with a woman who could do what you did? Damn it, Ben. Can't you see that I didn't do it of my own free will? I was drugged. You're the one not understanding things, Laura. It's not about what happened at Linda's, though I did expect it to happen, and I warned you it likely would. It's about the total disrespect you showed before you left for your date. Your remark, "Don't be ridiculous, Ben. This won't hurt us at all," as you walked out that door to go on a date with another man, destroyed any chance we had. Now please leave. I need to get ready for dinner. I'm hungry. I'll eat with you, and we can talk. I'm going to convince you that you're wrong when you say we can't put things back together. Her words barely faded before the front door opened, and an incredibly attractive blonde walked in, calling out, "I'm home, babe. What's for dinner?" Then she saw Laura and asked, "Who is this?" "This is Laura. You've heard me mention her a time or two." Laura was taken aback as the blonde walked over, bent down, hugged her, and said, "Thank you for sending Ben to me." Then she turned to me and asked what we were having for dinner. "I thought we'd go out. I made reservations at Carrabba's. I'll go change." "Nice to meet you, Laura. Maybe we can get together sometime and compare notes," she said before heading for the bedroom. "You need to go now, Laura. I have to change for dinner." "Does she know you're still married?" "She does." "You need to let her know I'm going to fight for you, Ben." "Get real, Laura. For you to fight for me, you'd need to spend time with me, and that isn't happening. Get a divorce and find another man. And when you do find him, don't pull the same stunt on him that you pulled on me." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she said, "Damn it, Ben. Why can't you understand that I didn't cheat on you? I was drugged. So what? You had to be there to be drugged, and that's the point. I told you not to go. I told you that when you walked out that door, you were kissing our marriage goodbye. You ignored me. You left. Marriage over. It's as simple as that. Now please leave. I have a dinner date to prepare for. I'm not divorcing you, Ben, and you need to inform your girlfriend of that. She's never going to marry you. She can't marry me. She's already married and in the same situation I'm in. Her husband won't give her a divorce, and she won't waste the money trying to get one. I'll go, but I'm not going far. I can't get you back long distance, so I'm moving here. I'm going to win you back." "No, you aren't, Laura. I've already said this several times, and you need to understand that I mean it. I do not want you. Now go." She was crying, but she left. Maria came into the room, looking radiant. "Why aren't you ready? Did you decide not to go?" "No, just took longer to get rid of her than I anticipated." "Is she gone for good?" "Should be. I made it clear I wanted nothing to do with her." "That's good because I don't intend to let you slip away from me." I smiled at that. "Give me 10 minutes, and I'll be ready to go. Thank you for watching."